Alright, YouTube. I've cleared off the diorama a little bit as I'm getting ready to make some changes to it with some joint compound. And this stuff has an expiration date. So it reeks. It smells horrible. So I had to make a little field trip to Walmart. Got myself some spackle, one of these little nifty things. And it came with some sandpaper, which I'm going to need, and a drywall patch, which I'm going to use. So I'm going to try to do this as edited as possible. I know the light's not great. Pardon the vaping. Anyways, so I'm going to move this out of the way, but I've determined I want it to stay right about there. Reason for that is when I'm making my videos, I want this here to be able to see the gas station and the lot of cars that is going to be on it. And I'll be able to zoom in. I can't zoom in because I'm filming this from an app. But let's get started. I'll show you guys. I'm not a professional at this by any means, but I've done a few. And I have the basic gist of it down. This is the first time I've ever done, like, added on to a diorama, so it's going to be interesting getting the finished product meshed in with the current product. So this stuff is pink, dries white, so not a big deal. So what I'm going to start out with is I'm going to spackle one side of this. Try not to get it on my hands too much. But this is going to be a messy. Making dioramas is always messy. If you guys have made them, you know. I'm just going to do this right over the top of the current diorama. I don't feel like scraping off the grass. So get this back out of the way. And I'll get to work here. I'm just going to start on this and then just kind of work my way around. And you can kind of just do it to get the desired texture. Now I knew this was going to happen, getting grass mixed in with it. I'm not real worried about it because I'm going to sand it all down and blend it. So it's going to be interesting to see how this finished product comes out. This is going to be a mixture of gravel as well as I'm going to add some grass and some pavement. So this is going to be a lot to do, but it's not too hard to do it. It's not that time consuming. And it'll be worth it, I think. It'll add a nice touch. It'll make my diorama table here a little bit more dynamic for making videos. So basically I'm just starting out here getting the little patch covered. And then from there I'm going to just start working my way out into the grass. You can see there's not a whole lot to it. If you guys decide you want to make one of these, the materials are not all that expensive. I just spent $8 on this joint compound, and then the sanders were a few dollars a piece. The paint is a little bit, paint's gonna set you back a little bit of money, but it's not too bad. It's not nearly as expensive as the cars. You just got to keep working it. I'm going to try to go for a smoother texture because this is going to be a dirt lot. It's going to be partial paved concrete and partial dirt. So I'm not going for the rough terrain look here. But the spackle is very easy to work with. And this stuff I just got at Walmart. You can get the other stuff that you're going to use for the diorama, the grass and the trees. You're going to have to probably go to Hobby Lobby or someplace like that. Paint you can get at Walmart or Hobby Lobby, whatever your preference is. But it's this is how it's done, or this is how I do it. There are guys that do this professionally that do pretty amazing work. I am not that guy. I just do it as a hobby. And I'm not all that experienced at it. I've only done a few. This is only the third diorama that I've done. It's the first time, as I just said, it's only the first time that I've ever changed a diorama. So that part of it's going to be interesting. Getting it to look all like it's one piece. So it goes on pink, it'll dry white. None of that's going to matter anyways because it's going to have to be painted. So, and you don't even have to do this. They have kits, diorama kits with plaster, but it's a lot heavier. It's a lot harder to work with in my opinion. And spackling is just a little cheating shortcut that I saw on one of the videos, and it's a lot easier to work with. It's less expensive, it's less messy. So I prefer the spackle or joint compound. And like I said, just going right over the top of the grass and a little bit of gravel that I have. Trying not to get it too close to the street. I don't want to repaint the street if I don't have to, because it's going to be a tough color to match, being that I mixed paint to get that. So I think this is probably a pretty good start. Might make it a little bit wider. I want it to be able to hold a decent amount of cars. I feel like I've had this good sized diorama and I haven't been utilizing it because I didn't really design it very good for recording videos. Got my camera on one little corner and it just hasn't been the most practical. So this is going to change that. I think this is going to add quite a bit. And I'm going to end up using pretty much this whole tub of spackling. So it's important, I've learned from some of the other stuff that I've done, to get your edges as blended as you can. I probably am going to have to end up repainting the road, but If I do, that's okay. It's too dark anyways. I meant for it to be a lot lighter. You know, roads are not black. They are when they're first paved, and that lasts maybe half a season until the sun turns it into a gray color. Alright, so we're pretty much out of the joint compound, and this is going to be the lot here. So try and get some of this back here, because this I want to be kind of like either a paved or gravel driveway for the gas station right back here. So that's it. That's the first part right there. I'm going to let this dry, and then that'll be overnight. And then tomorrow, I'll show you guys the next step. What's going on, YouTube? Alright, so this is the dried product here. I did, when it was still drying, I stamped this in. I think it'll look a little bit better than sitting on top. So that's kind of what that is. It's like a puzzle. Anyways, so that's that is, but I'm going to show you. Got my marker here. So I'm thinking a driveway here, and then I'll probably have it more up here. So this will be paved, this will be dirt. And then probably all of this will be dirt. And that stuff is dry, chalky. All right, check my phone. So I'm going to start with a coarse sander here, and I'm going to sand the part that's going to be cement. This stuff sands real easy. So you really just want to try to get it as smooth as possible, and you do get a pile of dust. It piles up real quick. But I'm going to leave this textured as it is. but I want the paved part to be nice and smooth. I'll leave this part over here textured as it is and just go right over the top of it with gravel. So that's it till the next step. Alright, so here we are with sanded and painted. And the paint might need some touching up. It won't be anything major. But that's kind of where we're at right now. And now what I need to do, I've taken our little poultry seasoning and put gravel in it. This is model gravel. And basically, I don't know if you can see this, but I did a dark brown. The brown was too dark. Luckily, I had some of this, which I used to highlight it. I like this a lot because it's a chalk finish, so it's perfect for this kind of thing. But you want to make sure if you do this that all the paints that you use are matte. You will definitely want a matte finish. Or flat, or whatever. You just don't want satin, you don't want gloss, you don't want semi-gloss. So to get the gravel down, you can use Elmer's, but I think Mod Podge holds a little bit better. But again, you have to make sure it's a matte, because it comes in gloss too, and you don't want to do gloss. That's going to cause problems for your diorama. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is just take a cheap little sponge brush, and basically everywhere where there's brown, everywhere where there is going to be gravel, I'm going to put this down. You can be real liberal with this. In fact, I would probably recommend that, because you don't want loose gravel. And then there's a couple of ways, or a couple of things that need to be done with this. This is the first step, and then after you get it down and let it dry, you have to glue it again with a spray bottle. So this is all going to dry clear. It'll dry clear and it'll dry matte. Those are the two things we're looking for. So, and you want to do it in sections. You definitely don't want to try to do too much and then the glue dries and then you're just going to be in bad shape if that happens. So, but this allows you to get a much more even finish. And my recommendation, I've had better luck doing the gravel first and then doing the grass after, especially in this scenario where I'm going to be trying to blend the new part of the diorama with the old part. So this is a really fine gravel. It's actually a ballast. They didn't have the gravel road that I used for the other gravel parts of my diorama. But it does allow you to get a nice even coat of gravel. So now I just got to let this dry. And then what you want to do is take a you're going to want to take a spray bottle and mix probably 1 part glue to 3 parts water. and give this a light mist. And I don't know if I'm going to show that or not. This is probably going to be the last one until I'm done. So it's not that hard. This is how I do it. And I mean, my diorama is not great. It definitely doesn't compare with some of these guys here on YouTube. But my hobby is the die cast, and this is just something I do just because it looks better than doing it on a table or a desk or a plastic Hot Wheels diorama. So that's my opinion, and it's not that expensive. So that's it. I can tell you now that I have that ballast down, I don't really like the way that looks. I don't like the shade. I don't know. I like my dirt road a lot better. So we'll have to see. It'll be interesting to see. But anyways, next time you'll see it, it'll be done.